Dragonfire Tools, quality affordable storage. Proud sponsor of our DragonfireTools.com studio.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, I've been looking at the news and I've seen catalytic converter theft is on the rise, and it kind of boggles my mind. John, why are people taking catalytic converters?
Because it's worth a lot of money. Now, back in the days, people were putting a lot of precious metals into these vehicles like palladium, platinum, rhodium.
Into the converters themselves.
Exactly. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago that we saw a huge spike in terms of the cost of those commodities. So now the converters are worth more than those vehicles itself.
How are people stealing catalytic converters from underneath the cars?
Well, thieves will have different tactics, but what we've seen typically is they're going to bring a Sawzall and some kind of automatic tool to remove the converters from the vehicle. It takes about 2-3 minutes tops.
Incredible. So you guys at Miller Cat have been producing catalytic converters for a long time.
Yes, so when we saw this problem start, we decided, hey, let's put our manufacturing capabilities behind protecting converters. We were researching and seeing how the thieves were actually removing the converters and coming up with ways to deter that from happening. So we bring in the raw materials, we form and cut all our shields, and then we sell them back to the market.
And everything's made in the USA.
Yes.
Now, this is for one of the most popular vehicles to have the catalytic converter stolen.
Correct. This is for the second generation Prius, the 2004 to 2009. The reason why that vehicle is particularly popular is because it has two underbody converters that are filled with precious metals. It's the easiest one the thieves get, and there's millions of them on the road.
Okay, so let's talk about how the shield actually works here.
So we've come out with several different designs on the Prius Generation 2 just because we've seen thieves change their tactics. It used to be just the flat shield was sufficient enough, but now because more of these vehicles have that flat shield, thieves have come up with ways to bypass that traditional shield. So this is our brand new redesigned Generation 2. The few difference is it comes with the deadbolt, the piece that you're holding there, and that's going to protect the front converter from getting stolen. This is where the thieves have actually been able to bypass the shield through the passenger wheel well. They're cutting before the converter and after it and yanking it out. And if you have a shield, they could probably remove it with the shield on there. But with this new design, that makes it very, very difficult. First, starting off with the deadbolt, and second, with the main shield here, which is made out of 304 stainless steel.
Well, first the deadbolt, I want to talk about the design here. The bend in it makes it particularly tough to cut through.
Correct.
And then the screw is an added measure of security as well.
Correct. So if the thief would try to cut through that front pipe, they're going to meet up with that stainless steel there. And if they were trying to come from the rear, they won't be able to do that because typically what they'll try to do is remove the two spring bolts that are holding the converter together. But with that screw in there, they're not going to be able to do that.
And that's a proprietary bit right there.
Yes. We use tamper-proof, or even we have an upgraded custom screw that we use to protect all our fasteners.
All right, let's talk about the security measures you've taken here.
So the number one difference between our shield and everyone else out there is ours is completely drill-less. We used to have a drilled shield, but we just said, hey, we can do better. We want customers to know that there's no modifications being done onto the vehicle. All it requires is the installation of 2 rivet nuts located right here onto your vehicle into existing holes. And once you've done that, you're good to go. First of all, it's easier installation, and second, it's a more form-fitting, more protected device here. We've created more space between the converter and the shield itself, so you're not going to get that noise and rattling that you'll get with some of the other shields. And again, all our shields will be fully removable and come with louver vents here to help with the heat dissipation. And also here we have a little window for the smog techs to be able to see exactly which converter you have on your vehicle, and you won't have any issues passing smog.
Is this system something I can install myself?
We try to make these as simple as possible, and that's why we did the redesign. All you'll need is a rivet nut tool in order to do the install for this particular shield. Other shields that we have for different vehicles, whether it's a truck or other passenger vehicles, may not need the rivet nut tool. It just really depends on the application. But this one, while we recommend professional installation, it is something that a handy person who loves to do their DIY can do themselves.
I know you mentioned the venting, and I bet you a lot of people are asking about heat getting trapped inside the shield. Is that a problem?
It is not, actually. Because we manufacture converters, we know what the standard operating temperatures of these converters should be. They actually should be very hot, 400 to 800 degrees. Some converters even come with heat shields themselves. Now, the problem is not with the converter overheating, it's actually with the cavity around the converter and trapping heat inside. What we do here at Miller Cat is we look at the heat, air, and dissipation of all that. That's why we include louver vents specifically underneath the converters, but also look at how heat can escape and make sure we're not trapping heat anywhere in our shield. We do temperature testing, we do thermal probes, just to make sure that there's no heat underneath your vehicle, because that's what you don't want.
Well, a little investment can save you a whole lot of heartache and a whole lot of money later on. You can find these at catshield.com. They make them for a whole lot of vehicles, more and more all the time. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings and more cool products when we come back.